Hey everyone, it's Evelyn, and we are going to do dahlia bouquets in October, which are quite a bit different than my dahlia bouquets in September, August, and July. The recipes, even though a lot of the filler flowers will have changed, the recipes stayed mostly the same. As usual, just going to throw it. And in those recipes, I always used 3 dahlias, and I mostly used a sunflower in between each dahlia. I'm out of sunflowers. I'm also now out of my snapdragons, and my cosmos are blooming very, very sparsely because, of course, we're down to 11 daylight hours and our temperatures have dropped quite a bit. During the day, today our high is 13, and I believe that's 50 Celsius, and I believe that's 56 Fahrenheit. And our nighttime temperatures hover around 8 degrees, which I believe is about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen. So what that means is I only have the dahlias for main focal flowers and not much filler to go with it. So instead of having 3 dahlias and 3 sunflowers, I'm going to go with 4 dahlias. Now 4 dahlias is a much more symmetrical design than 3. So 3, you can never have 2 of one and just 1 of another. You either have to do all 3 the same or all 3 different. With 4, I can do 2 the same that are on opposite sides of the bouquet and 2 that are the same on the other 2 sides. Or I can do 2 the same and 2 different. I mean, you can have all 4 different. You can play around a lot more. I am choosing to use for this bouquet 2 Spartacus. Whoops, pull out the other one. And 2 AC Loomis. Now, the other thing you're going to notice is my AC Loomis. It's looking quite a bit paler in color and quite a bit frostier than it does in the summer. In the summer, it's much more of a deep crimson, and that again is because of the colder days and the shorter daylight hours. It does that every year. It's kind of cool because it almost looks like you're using a different flower than you were before. The other thing is, prior I was using cosmos up the top of the bouquet. This time I'm going to go to decorative ball dahlias. In this case, I'm going to use a Cornell bronze. I'm stuck. A Keith H. and a Snow Princess. Now, you've never seen me use Snow Princess before because it is not a good summer flower at all. It hates the summer. It's a cactus dahlia. I'll just hold it close so you can see the petals. See, they're all very thin, and they all, I take it around to the back. You can see that you can unfurl the petal and make it bigger. They all curl back, every single petal. And that's what a cactus dahlia is. The Keith H is a water lily dahlia, and they tend to consistently have a back that's flat and then spraying open of petals, much like a water lily does. Cornell bronze is a ball dahlia, and a ball dahlia can usually make a full ball, but I tend to pick it when it's flat in the back, so that it's younger when it's like that. I don't wait till it's full grown to use it, because it has better vase life if you pick it before it's completely open. The other thing I do is I don't lay out my flowers on the table, but I keep them in water so that they can stay well hydrated, except for the couple of minutes that I use to actually make the bouquet. So let's get started making the bouquet. So I'm going to use my decorative, well, my water lily, my ball, and my cactus decorative dahlia, and I'm going to arrange them in a trio that will be at the top of the bouquet. And I don't worry about how I cross them. What I'm actually worried about is which way they face, because 2 of them have flat sides facing outwards, and the cactus dahlia is flat on the bottom. So what I want to do is arrange them, make sure I arrange them so that they're all facing out. Then I'm going to start adding in some of my dried pieces that I like to use in bouquets. And there's very few dried things that I like to use in bouquets because I don't want to have to hang things upside down to dry. And one of the things that dries really easily on its own is poppy pods. I use them a lot when they're fresh and green, but I use them a lot in the autumn when they're dried and sort of I like to call that a driftwood color, because that's basically what it looks like, driftwood. So I'm going to use 2 stems of that. This one has two pods on it. And I'm just going to poke them higher so that they poke up architecturally than the 3 dahlias that I'm using here. And I'm going to try to make them look like they're in a bit of a quadrant as well. So that's going to be sort of, for now, what the top of my bouquet is going to look like. And if you look at how I'm holding them, they are splaying out in different directions, even though I'm not purposefully trying to make a spiral or anything like that. Just the way I'm putting them together, they're just naturally splaying out. This is where I now add in my dinner plate dahlias. So we're going to take the Spartacus, and I've got a nice flat opening on this side here, and I'm going to put this one there. Then I'm going to go around to the other side, and this is a case where I do actually make sure that I place the stems off on a bit of an angle. And I'm going to put it underneath the Snow Princess, which is the white cactus, so it sits just on top of it like that. Then I'm going to slightly rotate the bouquet and take out an AC Loomis and put it in between the 2 Spartacus. I'm going to just pivot Cornell bronze a bit so it faces a bit more out that way. Okay. Oops, now we just turn this Spartacus so we'll straighten him up. And I'm going to go around to the 4th quadrant and put in the 2nd AC Loomis. So this is kind of what the bouquet looks like now. I'm finding it's feeling a little bit too triangular, so I'm going to just adjust the heights of some of these things to make it feel a little less triangular. And most of my adjustment is going to be pushing the 2 Spartacus up a little higher. That's a really, really tight bouquet. I have, except for the poppy pods, I have nothing really protruding from a tight ball. So there's no airiness to it yet, except for right through here. But I'm going to correct that now, remedy that. Now I'm going to use my dried Astilbe fronds. And I'm going to go in between each of the dinner plate dahlias. So what I'm going to do is with my, it's hard to show, with my thumb, I'm just going to open up the 2 dahlias so that I have room. And then I'm going to feed that in there. Then I'm going to open up the next 2 dinner plate dahlias, grab another one, feed it in there, and I'm going to really make sure that I get a nice good angle on the stem so that it's feeding out on a bit of an angle. Same thing here, I'm going to open it up, feed in the Astilbe frond, close that up again, open this one up, and put in a 4th one, because there's 4 dahlias, so there's 4 Astilbe fronds. And this is what I'm ending up with. Now that is still much more open. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Hang on. That is a much more open bouquet now, but it doesn't have any contrasting color for drama. Now this is where my laurel leaves are going to come in. So the stems on the laurel leaves, at this time of year, it's not growing quite as quickly as it did earlier on in the summer, so the leaves are a lot closer together, so you get a nice good spray of that. So what I'm going to do is come in underneath the flowers, hold my thumb up, come in underneath and push up. And this is where you get much more movement in around the side of the bouquet. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to come in underneath and I'm going to push up and arrange where the green petals go. Pull off the bottom ones. And now you have a lot more airiness to the bouquet simply by adding those 2 sprays of laurel leaves down around the bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is tie it so I don't lose my shape. Now I use a 24-inch piece of twine. I fold it in half. I come above my hand. I hold the loop with my thumb. I take this hand, I come in underneath. I grab the 2 ends. I lift this finger out and I hold it. And then I can just reach between the loop, pull the 2 ends, pull it tight, and then, now that it's tight, oops, my stem's too long. I can literally hang it upside down because it's tight. And I'm just going to tie a loop the same way as if you were tying a shoe. And now it's tied. The only other thing I have left to do is trim the ends so they're all the same length. Not quite. I'm going to look for my shortest stem, which is this one, which is way shorter than the other, so I'm just going to pull it down a bit. I'll look for my shortest stem and go about an inch longer. My cutters are a little dull. I was using them to trim my tree the other day and they got dull. That's okay, I'm just going to use my scissors to finish off the cuts. So there's my bouquet. It now has lots of airiness thanks to the green. The green also adds in that drama that the bouquet needed because the colors were too similar for my taste anyway. I don't like a monochromatic bouquet where everything sort of blends into each other. I like to have visual interest. I want you to be able to look at a bouquet and always have something different to look at. She's getting a bowl. Throw it up there. If everything's too much the same, you just look at the bouquet and you don't focus in on anything. When you have a whole pile of different and interesting things in it, you focus on different things. There's so many interesting things to look in this bouquet. Nothing clashes, nothing looks weird and strange in there. It all works together, but there's so many different textures and so many different shapes. There's so much to look at that is the kind of bouquet that I like. Now the next thing I would do in this particular case with this bouquet is take it over to my bouquet making station, which is right here. Lay it on the table, which is on top of a little piece of burl, and it's in front of a piece of cement board, and take a picture of it, which I will do, but I need my phone to do that, and then I'll put a picture of it up here. So if you have watched my video last week where I talk about my top 10 dahlias of 2024, you will know where Spartacus and AC Loomis fit within the realm of my top 10. They are in the top 10. If you want to know where they fit into my top 10 and you haven't watched that video, you should really watch it up over here. See you next week. Bye.